Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. With this slump that I'm on, the slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Feel like ass right now. Very tired, no sleep. This is better off dead. I feel like I am dead right now. This is Wednesday, July, whatever. 30th, is that what it is? Dude, oh my God. 1-0-1 on the show yesterday, right? We got the WNBA game right with the Golden State Valkyries. They had the lead for a lot of the game. I believe it was actually tied at halftime. They took another lead. It looked like they were going to win the game pretty easily in the fourth quarter. Blew the lead they had in the fourth quarter. A dildo got thrown out to the court, a green dildo. People may have seen that out there. There are a lot of videos and pictures of that on Twitter, X. I don't even know who did that or why they did that. But, well, I kind of know why. But it was a dildo trick, man. A WNBA player finally made 3 shots in a game. But the Valkyries still wound up getting out of there with the outright win. So not only did they cover, which was an easy cover, but the money line play was also a winner on that. And then the under in the Dodgers-Reds game was a push. I gave out the full game under, which luckily it wasn't the first 5 under. I did like the starting pitching matchup, but the game would have gone over in the first 5 innings. But full game, it landed right on the 9, and that was with a run being scored, the game-tying run, actually, in the top of the 8th. So I mean, that run needed to be scored, so luckily it did not go into extra innings or anything like that. J-Main, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out again. There's something weird with the comments here. The comments are all overlapping now, so I can't click on the right one. Patrick, what's up? I still don't get this crown thing, man. You dropped Severino for Berger. Yeah, I mean, still, I stand by never wanting to play Severino at home. I mean, maybe he's starting to turn it around, but you're following my plays. All right, well, that puts more pressure on me, man. Don't blame me. But today, I am going to have 2 plays today, both in the MLB. I got a full game total, I believe, and a full game side. Is that what I have? I haven't even entered them into the system yet. Let me see. Yeah, I believe that's right. Hold on, let me enter these in first, and then because I'm going to get to them in the best bet segment. Yeah, full game total, full game side. I like how I already forget what the plays are. Isn't that, that's great. I have a lot of focus this morning, man. Yeah, all right, let me get this in. Full game total. Yeah, I mean, you have to pay a little bit of a price for that one. Not much, but a little bit. Emily, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Yes, hello to everybody. His last home game, yeah, I mean, he's had 2 decent home games in a row, I guess, now for Severino. Maybe he's actually trending in the right direction somehow. Andrew, what's up, man? Yeah, there's no more Tower Gang, so it's Toter Gang now. WNBA, we do have a couple of games here today, which I'm not going to recommend to play in any of these. We do have Phoenix at Indiana. Phoenix is laying points on the road here. They're down from 3.5 to 3. Caitlin Clark is still not playing. I mean, I have no idea when she's going to come back, so she's not there for Indiana. Indiana, they are coming off beating Chicago on the road, a very short road trip, though, to Chicago. Now they're returning home from that. Not really a horrible spot, really, for Indiana, so they may actually show up focused for this game. Phoenix is a team with a pretty good record that has been playing fairly well, or they were until they dropped 3 straight games. It was basically against the 3 best teams in the league, Minnesota, Atlanta, New York. Then they turned it around and won against Washington. Not a very good Washington team. They are playing a 3rd straight road game now, though, so the spot to me actually doesn't look quite as good for Phoenix. So I guess I have a slight agreement with that line move downward, but that is not going to be a play. None of these are. Atlanta at Dallas, of course, I faded Atlanta yesterday. That was a win. Golden State with the low-scoring 2-point outright victory there. After the dildo was thrown onto the court in the tied game when it was 75-75. Atlanta now going to Dallas on a back-to-back. Travel plus no time off. Doesn't seem like a great spot to me, man, for Atlanta. No rest there, even though they are coming off a loss. But it's not a good spot for Dallas either because they just beat last year's champion, New York Liberty, who are still one of the best teams this year. So, they're not going to be unfocused because they know Atlanta's also a good team coming into their place, but they are coming off a big win. So it's possible Dallas isn't able to kind of keep up that effort 2 games in a row. The line has dropped towards Dallas, though, from 5.5 to 4 here on Atlanta. So the line movement towards Dallas, I still don't necessarily disagree with that. I still would not want to play Dallas in kind of a letdown spot there, though, or hangover spot, whatever you want to call it. And the New York Liberty are at Minnesota, man. So we actually have the 2 best teams in the league are playing each other here. And Minnesota, favored by quite a bit. They're down from 8.5 to 7. I don't know if there's like an injury issue there because that line does seem big to me. Let me see. Looks like we do have some injury situations here for the Liberty here. Some amount of an injury situation. Stewart looks like she's a game-time decision. So that's going to be something to keep in mind, I guess, if you're looking at this game. This game will be revenge for Minnesota because this is the rematch from last year's finals, which I think Minnesota got screwed by the refs in the finals, not just because I had Minnesota winning in my bracket, but I thought that was just bullshit, man. So Minnesota probably should have won the championship last year. They did not, and they have not played the Liberty since then. So this is a pretty big revenge spot for Minnesota, man. So I think they're certainly going to want to come in and win this game. They're laying 7.5, which I think to the public eye, or 8 even, to the public eye, it might look like too big a number, man. You're talking about the 2 best teams in the league. Everybody knows New York beat Minnesota last year, even though Minnesota has the better record and is the better team this year. Still, the public, if they look at this, might be thinking, well, it looks so easy to take the Liberty plus the points, right? Like, a game between the top 2 teams in the league, you tend to not want to lay points like this. Like, it seems like it should be a closer game than that. So I'd be slightly leaning to the Minnesota side for all those reasons. The revenge plus the line just looks a little odd. As far as the situation, Minnesota is coming off a loss and not traveling, staying at home after that upset loss to Atlanta. So that is also a positive for Minnesota because they'll want to bounce back from that. Liberty, though, they're coming off 2 ugly losses as well. They're playing a 2nd straight road game, but they're going to show up in this game focused as well. So it's a slight lean to me from Minnesota. I think that's probably the best lean of the day in college basketball, but the line has dropped on that, actually down from 8.5 to 7 now, it looks like. I guess maybe I already said that, but yeah, I would still lean that way, though. Maybe the line is moving just because maybe there's Stewart injury news. I'm not even really sure. I don't follow it well enough, but I look for the spots, man. So, yeah, Minnesota. Yeah. The Kroger Mountain Dew. Oh, yeah. It's hard to tell when it says, like, oh, this is a lemon lime soda. You got to look at the color of the soda itself, though. If it's a Sprite, knockoff, then it's going to be clear most likely. And if it's Mountain Dew, it's going to be green. Yeah. It sounds good, though. I actually prefer Mountain Dew to Sprite, but that's because I like to, just like slam caffeine 24/7 pretty much. So that's why I like Mountain Dew. Let's go to WNBA. Let's get off of the WNBA. We'll do the baseball rundown here. I'm putting the graphic in whenever I feel like it now. All right, it's Major League Baseball today. We have afternoon games today because some of these series are going to be ending. And teams are going to have to travel, potentially start new series tomorrow. We got Toronto at Baltimore. Toronto is actually on a slide now, man. Baltimore has actually won 5 games in a row, including all 3 games in this series against Toronto. Baltimore also put up double-digit run totals in the first 2 games and then didn't in the third game, which was the second of the doubleheader yesterday, but still won. Both of these teams played they played a doubleheader yesterday, so the bullpens are probably not in the greatest rest shape here. I mean, we can look at the chart here. Baltimore actually did only use 4 of their relief pitchers across the 2 games yesterday, but still, Toronto actually somehow managed to only use 3. Looks like maybe they just brought in long relief men, which makes sense because they got absolutely annihilated in the first game. Toronto, I think, is going to come into this game with some fever, though, with some, fervor, because they don't want to get swept at Baltimore, man. So I think Toronto is going to be motivated here. But Toronto is on a bad slide right now, man. So if you like Toronto to take this one, you're going to be fading a couple of streaks here. Given that the bullpen situation, both teams kind of are unrested somewhat with the bullpens. Toronto gets the bullpen edge. Toronto has the better bullpen. Toronto does have the better offense as well. On the surface, I would say they have the better starting pitcher as well with Berríos, 3.83 ERA, 1.25 whip. He's better on the road as well, 3.3 ERA on the road. He hasn't been as good this month, though. He's kind of sliding a little bit, even though Toronto's won a lot of games. They've won 4 out of his 5 this month. They've won, 9 of his last 11 starts, I believe is what that is. They've won. They're winning behind Berríos. He's not allowing a ton of runs, but this month he still does have a 6.12 ERA and 19-7 strikeout walk ratio, and I don't like either of those statistics, so I'm a little bit concerned about Berríos' current form. His numbers are not good against Baltimore either. Not a huge 188 at-bat sample size, 309 batting average against him, and 910 OPS, so that's not very good. So I actually don't trust Berríos in this spot, man. So I'm not going to recommend that actual play there. I don't know what you guys are. I'm trying to keep. What should I do? I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. I'm not sure what you're saying I should do, but all right. Dean Creamer pitching for Baltimore. I mean, he's a guy I don't really like either. 4.23 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. Mediocre numbers. He is better at home, though. 2.65 ERA at home. He's been way better at home. This month, he's been okay with a 4.07 ERA, 21-7 strikeout walk ratio. Did allow 5 runs last time out at home against a bad Rockies lineup, though, and he's walked 5 guys over the last 2 starts. So he maybe is starting to kind of come back out of form a little bit again. Against Toronto, his numbers are not very good in 100 at-bats. 280 batting average, 805 OPS. So that's not great either. So I'm going to probably be leaning towards the over in this game, man. I mean, it looks like some of the money has come in on that. The total's at 9, and it's headed towards 10, or 9.5, and headed towards 10 with all that juice on the over there. The money seems to be agreeing with the over. 67% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the over. That's the way I would go with, man, with both bullpens being a bit unrested right now. And not trusting either starting pitcher there. Both starting pitchers don't have good matchup numbers. That's not one of my plays, but I lean over. You want me to go on NDS? I mean, that might happen. They certainly know me. They can invite me on if they want. I will come on. I don't know what I would talk about, though. Arizona at Detroit. Detroit got another win yesterday, so they're on the verge of, I guess, sweeping the series. I don't know how many of these series are continuing into tomorrow, though, but they've won the first 2 games in the series by a combined score of 17-3, so this once formidable Arizona lineup is really falling apart now. I don't think it's just because Naylor is out of there. I think it's just the whole thing. Arizona just might be in a bad mental state because they know they're now giving up on the season, basically selling at the trade deadline. So it seems like Arizona's just in a bad mental state right now. Arizona has the worst bullpen, although they haven't seen a lot of bullpen usage over the last couple of days. Detroit has seen more bullpen usage, but generally they have the better bullpen. So still probably give Detroit a slight bullpen edge here. Arizona still has the offensive edge. Detroit's offense has actually been pretty bad since the All-Star break. And for the starting pitching, Ryan Nelson is pitching for the Diamondbacks. Good numbers on the season. You want me to talk about my faith, Christianity? I could do that. I mean, I'm sure I am not of the same vein of Christianity probably that they are. But Nelson, I mean, his numbers are good on the season. 3.29 ERA, 1.02 whip. I still have never really trusted Nelson, and I still don't really. He's not great on the road. 4.89 road ERA, so that's way higher than his ERA at home. He is doing well for Arizona as of late, though. I mean, they've won 7 of his last 8 starts. This month, a 2.35 ERA, although 14-7 strikeout walk ratio. Mostly that's a low strikeout rate. I mean, he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, or at least he isn't this month. But his numbers are fairly good other than that overall. His numbers against Detroit, however, are not good. In 34 at-bats, 353 batting average, 948 OPS. So Nelson, home road splits are bad. Numbers against Detroit are bad, so he could potentially get lit up in this game. Chris Paddock is pitching for Detroit, and he is now the latest new arrival for Detroit because Minnesota just traded him. I'm not really sure this is a great ad for Detroit, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't have good numbers this year. 4.95 ERA, 1.28 whip. We'll see if he gets excited to play on a contender now in Detroit, though. I don't know, man. After all these years playing against Detroit, he has now basically joined the enemy, and this will be his first start as a member of the Detroit Tigers. His ERA, home and away, he has been better at home, although that was at Minnesota's ballpark, 4.34 ERA. We'll see what he could do with Detroit. This month, he actually has a really good 20-3 strikeout walk ratio, but Minnesota lost a ton of his recent starts. Minnesota's lost, 12 of his last 14 starts, if I did that right. Trying to eyeball that. Minnesota lost a lot of his recent starts. He did have a 6 ERA this month, or he does, despite that really good strikeout walk ratio. Giving up a lot of hits, a lot of home runs, 28 hits in 21 innings, 4 home runs this month, 2 starts where he gave up 5+ earned runs. Not a good sign, even though he is coming off one of his best starts of the year against the Dodgers, so he does still have that in him sometimes. So maybe he's coming back into form. I don't know. And Minnesota got rid of him after that. After he gave up 1 run to the Dodgers, and they still actually lost that game. Was not his fault. With 8 strikeouts and 1 walk as well. Numbers against the D-backs, 32 at-bat sample size, 312 average allowed, but 708 OPS isn't that bad. 7-1 strikeout walk ratio. So he's been okay against them. So Paddock, I guess, has the matchup numbers in his favor a little bit, but to me, I don't really trust him. I don't trust either starting pitcher in this one, man. So I'm kind of leaning towards an over in this one as well. And the total's flipped from 9 juice to the under to 9 juice to the over. It's a high total. Arizona's bullpen's not good. I mean, Detroit's at least has seen some usage. Don't like either starter, really, so over will probably be the way that I would lean in this game more than anything else. Money seems like it is coming in on Arizona. Detroit down from -128 to -126. 68% of the tickets on Detroit, but 68% of the cash on Arizona. So there is kind of a market read on the Arizona side there. So I guess take from that what you will. They ended up at a crazy Pentecostal church. All right. I forget what the Pentecostals really do. I mean, that is not my my flavor of Christianity. It's not my denomination. Women's sports, men are really good at women's sports, man. Kirby Puckett, he was an awesome player, man. Kirby Puckett, I was a fan of him. Speaking of the Minnesota Twins, we're going to be talking about them right now. We just talked about them because they traded Chris Paddock, but the Minnesota Twins are playing my Boston Red Sox here. Red Sox won yesterday to even up the series at 1 apiece. Red Sox didn't use a ton of their relief staff yesterday, although overall they've had a lot of bullpen usage the last few days. Some of their better relievers are still available today, though. Minnesota does have the worst of the 2 bullpens generally, although some light usage, or actually not light usage. I clicked on the wrong team. My mistake. They used 4 relievers yesterday as well, so they've had somewhat heavy bullpen usage recently as well. So I think you still give the bullpen edge to the Red Sox. Similar usage and the significantly better bullpen on the side of the Red Sox. Starting pitching, Brian Bayo for the Red Sox. Basically, he's completely turning his season around as it stands right now. 3.32 ERA, 1.28 whip. I mean, I'm a hard man to please, especially when it comes to the team that I root for, but Bayo is actually starting to pitch way better. I'm becoming a Bayo believer, a Brian Bayo believer, a BBB. 3.13 ERA this month with a 27-5 strikeout walk ratio. So his walk rate, he's gotten it way down, which is a really good sign. So he is actually pitching quite well. He's coming off a decent start against the Dodgers. I mean, it was nothing to really scoff at. Dodgers and Cubs, I mean, those are two pretty difficult offenses to face. So he now gets to face an easier offense to face than those two in Minnesota. And he's done really well against Minnesota. In 35 career at-bats, they only have 5 hits against him. One of them is a Jeffers home run, but still, he has a 12-1 strikeout walk ratio against them. So the walks have not been there hasn't been a huge number of walks from him against them. 143 batting average, a lot of 452 OPS. So you get basically dominant numbers from Bayo against Minnesota. So that looks good for him. Zebby Matthews is pitching for Minnesota. He's been kind of on and off of the disabled list. I thought he might have been in the minors again. He's been all over the place, man. He shows glimpses of being a really good pitcher, and then sometimes he is very, very bad. 4.97 ERA on the season, 1.34 whip. Not great numbers. He has been way better at home, though, with a 1.8 ERA at home. Pitched well in July so far in 2 starts, 13-1 strikeout walk ratio. 4.5 ERA, not that good. He gave up a bunch of runs at Coors Field, but maybe you give him a pass for that because of the venue that took place in. Minnesota has actually won 4 of his last 5 starts, although it goes all the way back into May because he hasn't made that many starts because he's been on and off of the roster so much. And of course, I can never type this right when I want to go see his batter versus pitching stats because the fucking people at ESPN won't give you that tab permanently. Fucking ESPN. Matthews against the Red Sox actually has good numbers. It's a very small 12 at-bat sample size, though. 4 strikeouts, no walks, only 1 hit, which is a double by Rafaela. He's held him to an 0.83 average and 250 OPS. So Matthews, good numbers against the Red Sox, and they're not too familiar with him. So it actually looks like this could be an early under in this game, man. The total's gone up from 7.5 to 8, juiced to the over now. 80% of tickets, 90% of the cash on the over. Full game is getting some action on the over, but I'm wondering if first 5 inning under might make some sense in this game, man, because I actually think both starting pitchers could potentially do well. Neither offense, I don't think, is really that intimidating. I mean, Red Sox are a lot better offensively at home. Generally, their offense is good, but it's better at home. Minnesota's isn't that good. Both pitchers look like they have a nice matchup here. I don't trust Minnesota's bullpen. Slightly into the Red Sox as well, just because I think they have the bullpen edge once it gets into the later innings. And probably at this point, Bayo, I mean, we have more numbers to work with. He's probably a little bit more trustworthy as well. And the Red Sox still have the better offense. So I think the Red Sox are probably the lean as well. But that and under first 5 innings would be my opinions on that game. 77% of tickets, 94% of the cash on the Red Sox. I mean, take all my opinions, I guess, with a little bit of a grain of salt. Try to gauge like how strong my opinion is just based on how forcefully I talk about it, man, because when it's not one of my actual plays, it's not as strong as my plays, at least. Braves at Royals, this game, I mean, I don't know what we're going to get out of this game, man. This basically looks like both teams essentially are going almost with a bullpen game here. Kansas City won yesterday to even up this series. They've actually been scoring a bit more recently and playing better recently, even though their offense absolutely stinks. As far as the bullpen usage here, we got Kansas City has used a lot of their bullpen recently, man. They used a lot of their guys yesterday, too. We've seen a lot of heavy usage from Kansas City's bullpen, which is probably not a good sign for them. Atlanta used 3 of their relief pitchers yesterday, so even though Kansas City does have the better bullpen, I would say Atlanta might have a slight bullpen edge here just because the bullpen edge, the bullpen rest edge, I think, is in their favor. Zach, what's up, man? Yeah, the Royals here. I don't know if it's looking that good for the Royals in this game. And this starting pitching matchup, again, is really almost not even a starting pitching matchup. Joey Wentz is pitching for the Braves. Not good numbers. 5.76 ERA, 1.57 whip. Better on the road, 4.62 ERA. And at least this is a more pitcher-friendly park here. But he's been all over the place, man. He was on Pittsburgh, Minnesota. Now he's on Atlanta. And since he's been on Atlanta, still hasn't exactly been that great. He did have 2 appearances where he didn't allow any runs. Last time out, he allowed 3 runs and 4 1/3 against a bad Texas lineup. He did strike out 6, so he has a good strikeout walk ratio with the Braves. 14-3, but he gave up a bunch of runs. So I seriously don't know what Wentz even is right now. I don't know if they're going to try to get him 5 innings now because they do seem to be ramping him up. So maybe he will get almost a starter's workload here, but you got to think this bullpen's going to be coming into this game right around the middle of the game. Wentz against the Royals, his numbers were only okay against this bad lineup. 45 at bats, 267 average allowed, 779 OPS is a bit high. We got homers from Grichuk and Perez. Because, of course, it's almost always Perez. He's still hitting well right now, too, even though I think he's ridiculously old. 5-3 strikeout walk ratio over that span for Wentz. Not impressive numbers, but on the other side, Angel Zerpa is listed as the starter for the Royals. He's a relief pitcher for them. He's been coming out of the bullpen for them, so he's basically making an opener type of start here, I believe. 4.15 ERA, 1.36 whip, so those numbers are not good either. Worse at home, 4.81 ERA. That's not good. Again, he's been pitching in relief, man. He's made a lot of appearances this month and has a 5.87 ERA this month. That's not good. A 10-5 strikeout walk ratio, not great either. A lot of strikeouts, but wildness there. He's given up runs in each of his last 2 appearances, also not good. So I don't like Zerpa that much. The Braves have 9 at-bats against him, and they've hammered him for a 556 batting average, 1,267 OPS. Not looking good there. So, I mean, as crazy as it might sound, I mean, I'm kind of thinking the over makes sense in this game with all the bullpen usage that's happened. Not really trusting either bullpen. The line is flipped from 9.5 juice to the over to juice to the under, but we see 71% of tickets, 72% of the cash on the over. I think you're going to see both bullpens in this game really early on, especially on Kansas City's side. It's basically going to be a bullpen game, which does mean they probably have one like long relief man that's going to come in and pitch multiple innings, but even so, I don't trust it. I don't trust any of that. So I think I would lean to the over. And the money looks like it is coming in on KC, which I can't really read the side in this game at all. I mean, there's no way I would want either side here. Kansas City down from -130 to -125. 55% of tickets, 88% of the cash coming in on Kansas City. The one surprising thing about that, I guess, is that the professional money almost always comes in on Atlanta recently because it's always, well, their talent level is better than their record makes it look, but not in this game. So maybe that is an indicator or something with Kansas City there getting the cash. Yeah, your offense is elite now. Yeah, I would definitely not go that far, but they are in decent form right now. But I think the over is probably the better way to look. I'll skip Cubs-Milwaukee, which, by the way, it's a great pitching matchup there, by the way. But I might be doing something that you don't expect in that game. So Philadelphia at the White Sox, I believe they split the first 2 games of this series as well. Neither of these bullpens are very good at all. White Sox didn't use a lot of their bullpen, though. They only used 2 relief men yesterday, so their bullpen usage has been fairly light. Philadelphia doesn't have a great bullpen either. They've had really light bullpen usage. Philadelphia's bullpen might be the most rested in all of Major League Baseball today. Only using 3 relievers over the last 2 days, 5 over the last 3, so, or actually 6, I guess. My apologies. And 4 over the last 2 days. But still, very, very light bullpen usage from Philadelphia here, which is probably necessary because they got Taijuan Walker pitching, and I don't think he's going to go that deep into this game. He's not very good. He has mostly served as kind of an opener, but it looks like they are trying to let him go starters workload now, but we'll see, man. 3.84 ERA, 1.35 whip. That whip is not very good. Bettor on the road, 2.67 ERA on the road. He did go 5 2/3 innings against the Yankees last time out, which was not a terrible outing. He did give up 3 bombs, but they were all solo bombs, so he only gave up 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks. He was respectable in that game, and it seems like they're trying to let him, get his workload up and go deeper into games, so we'll see if he's able to do that again. I don't know. I'm not entirely trustworthy of him there. 11-4 strikeout walk ratio and 3.86 ERA this month. Not horrible, but he's allowed 5 home runs over the last 2 outings, so that's not a good sign, even though Philly did win both of them. He is facing a very bad White Sox lineup here, and he has done well against them in 27 at-bats, 111 batting average, 398 OPS, although the 6.5 strikeout walk ratio is not good. But maybe he will do well here because this is a very bad lineup that has not done well against him in the past. Adrian Hauser is pitching for the White Sox, and he's actually been their best starter, although he has faced a lot of weak lineups for the most part, which the Philadelphia Phillies lineup is not a weak lineup. 2.1 ERA, 1.22 whip on the season, 1.38 ERA at home, very good. Hauser mostly has been good, and the White Sox have won a bunch of games for him, and they've won 6 starts in a row for him. This month, he has a 16-8 strikeout walk ratio, though, which is not that good. He's walked multiple guys in 3 of the 4 outings. That's not a good sign. 2.42 ERA is really good, but he started to slip the last couple of games. He didn't make it 5 innings against Pittsburgh, which is not a good sign. Did okay against the Cubs, but walked 3 guys. That is a very formidable Cubs lineup. So maybe you give him a little bit of a pass for that, but it looks like he is starting to kind of falter a little bit here, not Bailey falter. He's starting to Hauser a little bit. Against Philly, he does have okay numbers in 95 at-bats, a huge sample size, 242 average, 725 OPS allowed. So not horrible numbers for Hauser there. I mean, this is an interesting one, man, because I think it is quite possible that Philadelphia is the first team to have to go to their bullpen here, and their bullpen is not very good. So it looks like the money's coming in on the White Sox, man. It's a very short line. I mean, it looks so easy to play Philly with a short number like this, down from -135 to -130, 57% of tickets on them, 51% of the cash, though, coming in on the White Sox. I won't disagree with it. I mean, slightly into the White Sox. I would say maybe first 5 innings White Sox, although you probably are going to not get quite as good a price on that. But I think the starting pitching matchup is where they have the biggest edge because Philly has the better offense. I don't like either bullpen, although maybe both bullpens are bad enough that it kind of evens out. So either full game or first 5 inning White Sox money line, I guess, kind of makes sense in that one. And it looks like there has been some market indication on the under with 9 juice to the over. Now just a straight 9, 76% of the tickets on the over, only 67% of the cash on the over. So some money coming in on the under, which at least the bullpens are fairly rested for that, but I wouldn't trust an under in a game like that where I really don't trust Walker. Hauser might not be as good as he looks, and I don't trust the bullpen, so I can't do that. Washington at Houston. Houston finally broke their loss streak, man. They ended their loss streak at 5. They won against Washington yesterday, which, maybe that'll start some new momentum for Houston there. And Houston actually scored for once, too. Houston, remember, they have a couple of key players out of their lineup right now due to injury. So Houston's offense has really been struggling as of late, but they did get it done yesterday. As far as the bullpens, Houston has the way better bullpen in general. Washington, one of the worst bullpens in the league, but Houston, rest-wise, not looking that good. They've used a bunch of relievers recently, kind of a lot of pitches thrown. So rest-wise, not great. Washington did use 4 relief pitchers yesterday as well, so their bullpen rest scenario is not exactly the best either. So I don't like Washington's bullpen at all anyway. I don't like either bullpen here. Mackenzie Gore is pitching for Washington. I mean, he is the better of these 2 starters here. 3.52 ERA, 1.27 whip. His whip is too high, though, man. He gets wild at times. He's been a little bit better on the road. 3.39 road ERA this month, 5.79 ERA, though, and a really bad 15-14 strikeout walk ratio. He's walked 9 guys over the last 2 starts. Not good against San Diego and Minnesota. I mean, those are 2 struggling offenses, too. Pretty bad sign. And only 6 strikeouts in those 2 games, too. Allowed 8 runs in 2 1/3 innings against San Diego. So he is not in good form right now. And yeah, again, overall 15-14 strikeout walk ratio this month is really bad. And it goes back to the 2 starts to end the prior month, too, where he had 10 strikeouts and 7 walks. That wasn't good either. So Gore is very much out of form right now. And his numbers against Houston are actually not good either. And this is just the guys that Houston does actually have active on the roster right now. 20 at-bats, not a huge sample size, but he's allowed a 350 average and 781 OPS. So Gore could do poorly in this game potentially, man. I don't think it's the best matchup for him. He's certainly not in good form. And for Houston, they got Ryan Gusto pitching, and he hasn't been good either. Or he hasn't been good, I should say. 5.18 ERA, 1.48 whip, 6.35 ERA at home. That's very bad. 6.32 ERA this month, 11-4 strikeout walk ratio. The strikeout walk ratio is not that bad. The ERA is really bad. He made a couple of short stints, I think maybe out of the bullpen, 1 inning each, and then he joined the starting rotation again and got absolutely hammered by the A's for 8 earned runs and 3 1/3. Very bad sign for Gusto. I mean, I don't think you can trust him at all. I don't think he's going deep into this game. You got an overworked bullpen. Nats have never seen him before, but I don't even think that's going to help them that much or help him that much, man. Usually when a pitcher hasn't been seen before, if they're actually good, the hitters could struggle to figure him out, but I don't think there's any struggling against Gusto, really. So I think an over makes sense in this game, actually, man. I don't think you can trust either starter or either bullpen based on everything I just said. And the total is actually really low in this one. So the odds makers are basically telling you the opposite. And yes, I know Houston, their offense has been really bad recently. I know both offenses kind of questionable here, but that's the way that I look at this game. The money is completely disagreeing with me. Total's up from 7.5 to 8 here, basically, but 70% of the tickets on the over, 53% of the cash on the under. So the market read is completely disagreeing with me on that. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way that it is. I don't agree with what the market is doing there. Houston's down from -120 to -115, but they have 75% of tickets, 77% of the cash. Still, to me, that isn't a high enough cash percentage discrepancy to really think, oh, well, that means Houston is, actually getting like the money now or whatever, like the actual professional money. I think Houston is kind of a public fade still, but they are in the better spot as far as they just broke a loss streak, whereas Washington lost their win streak. So Houston at least is in the better situational spot, but I still think over is the way to look at that game. Pittsburgh, San Francisco is going to be the other play I'm going to give out at the end of the show. Mets at Padres. This has been an interesting series, man, and we have two decent teams here. The Mets only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, so their bullpen is in decent shape here, and they're an okay bullpen. San Diego generally has the better bullpen, but they used 5 relief pitchers yesterday. So San Diego, their normal bullpen advantage might be a little bit less so because they've used a lot of their bullpen. Clay Holmes is pitching for the Mets here. The Mets do have the better offense, so that's also something to keep in mind here, of course. Clay Holmes, decent season for him, 3.4 ERA, 1.28 whip. That whip is still higher than I would like to see it, though. I still don't really trust Clay Holmes, although I know I went with an under in his last game, and I think it hit, if I remember correctly. Did it? Maybe it did. No, I think it lost, actually, in like the last inning. Maybe, I don't know, I forget. He's been good on the road, 3.32 ERA on the road. Not very significant home road splits, though. But this month, he's been struggling. 4.91 ERA, 13-9 strikeout walk ratio. That's not good. He's allowed, he hasn't gone that deep into any of these outings. He's gone 5 1/3 or less in all of them. He's allowed 4 or more earned runs in 2 of the 5 starts. That's not a great sign either. So right now, his strikeout rate is low. His walk rate's a little bit high. He's just not really in the best form right now, man, Clay Holmes, and I did expect some regression out of him, so maybe we're kind of seeing that right now. His numbers against the Padres, the fathers, are not that good either, and they might become his daddy, or maybe they are. It's a small 20 at-bat sample size, but 6-4 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 300 batting average allowed, and 867 OPS, also not good. Padres are able to hit Holmes fairly well, but I don't know how you could trust Darvish, who was starting for San Diego here. He's coming back from missing a lot of time with injuries, and he's old now, 38. He's trying to make his comeback here, and it has not gone well so far. Although I still think that at some point he's going to be better. I mean, at least better than this. I think at some point he's going to be back to maybe not like what he once was, but at least back to something, resembling what he once was. But right now, that is not the case. 9.18 ERA and 1.8 whip. I don't see how you could put your money on this guy right now. He's actually been better at home with a 6.48 ERA at home, which, it does make sense. It's a pitcher-friendly ballpark in San Diego. Against the Mets, overall, his numbers are not that bad. And 109 at-bats, 27-9 strikeout walk ratio, 248 average is pretty low. That's pretty good for him. 748 OPS, not that high either. But it's just, Darvish's current form is just awful, man. Look at what he's done recently. It's just awful. He hasn't been good. He's only been in the majors since July 7th this season. So he's trying to make his comeback, and it's gone very poorly. 11-9 strikeout walk ratio, really bad. Multiple runs allowed in every outing. He's only made it to the 5-inning mark once. against a bad Washington lineup and only had one strikeout in that game. So it's not going well for Darvish, but again, he might kind of get his stuff back because Darvish isn't really a guy that relies on like massive like velocity or anything like that. He's more of a guy that relies on having a ton of different pitches and trying to fool you. So we will see, man. In this game, what the market is doing, what is the market doing? I think it actually is indicating towards the Padres. Yeah, Padres have flipped from plus 109 to minus 105. 57% of tickets are on the Mets. The public likes the Mets. I mean, the Mets have the better offense, so it makes sense the public likes them. And they like Holmes over Darvish probably too. 59% of the cash, though, coming in on San Diego. Now, I don't know, man, because even if this game gets to the bullpens, I think the bullpens are a little bit of a wash because the Mets have the better rest scenario with the bullpen. So I don't know if I love any of that. And the money's actually coming in on the under, too. Now 8.5 juice to the under, 65% of tickets on the over, but 79% of the cash coming in on the under. So it looks like the market is really showing a lot of respect for you, Darvish, here. I don't really understand why. I mean, until we see that he actually is able to pitch again, I don't see how we could do that. So that's not going to be something I'm going to do. But that is the market read. And if I don't have a strong feeling on a game, I will have to default to leaning with the market. But I don't really know about that one, man. I mean, in that one, it almost, I don't even know because both bullpens are somewhat trustworthy, so I don't even know if I would say an over, and that game even makes sense. An over first 5 innings maybe makes sense in that one, which is ridiculous to think about. I almost never would give out an over only in the first 5 innings because I think it just kind of has a domino effect into the bullpens, but I would slightly be leaning towards overs in that game, maybe just in general. Colorado at Cleveland. Cleveland got a win yesterday after losing the first game of the series. Cleveland won 10-4 yesterday, so these teams have split the first 2 games of this series. Both of these offenses are bad. Both of these teams are bad. Cleveland only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. Their bullpen rest scenario is pretty good. They have the better bullpen over Colorado. Colorado's bullpen's a little bit more overworked right now, although they only used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. But Colorado, they're the worst bullpen anyway. Kyle Freeland is pitching for Colorado. He's at least not their worst pitcher. And it looks like he's good at trick golf shots here. Shout out to Happy Gilmore, I guess. Maybe he is able to shoot his golf balls off of, towers that fall down onto the golf course or whatever. 5.24 ERA, 1.52 whip. I mean, that is a terrible whip. And the ERA, obviously not good either. He's been better outside of Coors Field, though. 4.68 ERA on the road. This month, 4.18 ERA is at least respectable. 15-8 strikeout walk ratio is not great. That's too many walks. Pretty low strikeout rate. He's not great, but he's allowed 4 fewer earned runs in all 4 starts this month. And Colorado's won 3 of those 4 starts, which is really saying something because they're bad offensively. Doesn't have a whole lot of history against Cleveland. Only 3 of their hitters have seen him before. 26 at bats. They have 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 269 average, 806 OPS. So they've hit him okay. Although most of it has been Hedges, who's 6 for 14 off him with a couple doubles, 1 of those walks, and 3 of the strikeouts. So I don't know if Freeland is totally trustworthy. He's going up against Colby Allard or Allard. I don't know how you pronounce his name for Cleveland there. 2.83 ERA, 1.35 whip. So his whip is way too high, even though his ERA is good. 3.7 ERA at home, so he's actually worse at home as well. And he's moving in out of the bullpen, man. He made 1 start against the Red Sox early in the season. He actually went 6 innings allowing 1 run. I believe that was a start, but he didn't strike out anybody. So a very weird start for Allard there, or however the hell you pronounce his name. He had a stretch in the middle of the season where every game that he appeared in June, Cleveland lost. And then all but 1 game this month, Cleveland has lost. That's insane, man. Maybe it's because they're already losing and they just put him in games that they're already losing because they don't trust him. But Cleveland has lost 12 of the last 13 games that he's appeared in. That's not a good sign. Against Colorado, they only have 3 guys who've ever seen it before, 10 at bats. So not a big sample size at all. 200 batting average allowed, 400 OPS. Still don't think Allard or Allard is trustworthy, and I have no idea how deep he's going to go in this game. So, I mean, it almost seems to me like the edge might go to Colorado slightly with that matchup. I mean, you have to give Cleveland the bullpen edge slightly and the hitting edge slightly because Colorado's just that bad. But Cleveland, I mean, again, I've said this throughout the series. I mean, they're priced way too high just because Colorado's so bad. Cleveland is also really bad. They're down from minus 190 to minus 178. 89% of tickets, 93% of the cash coming in on Cleveland. Yeah, so I mean, Cleveland, you can tell they're public. It looks like the money line move is what means more to me in this market read here. So it looks like that's where the money is kind of coming in on Colorado. And it's coming in towards the under, kind of more leaning towards how bad these offenses are. I'm not sure I would agree with that, though. 75% of tickets on the over, 56% of the cash on the under, but I just don't trust those pitchers, man. Tampa Bay at the New York Yankees. The Yankees won yesterday. They lost the first game of the series, won yesterday 7-5. Tampa has the better bullpen, so I think you give Tampa the bullpen edge here. Tampa did use a lot of their bullpen yesterday, though. They used 5 relief pitchers yesterday, so maybe the bullpen usage kind of evens out the bullpens a little bit. Yeah, because the Yankees only used 2 relievers yesterday, so actually less of a bullpen advantage for Tampa than there would be otherwise. So not off to a great start for me, being a Red Sox fan, wanting the Yankees to lose. Zach Littell is on the mound for Tampa. Good numbers on the season, 3.72 ERA, 1.11 whip. Although the advanced analytics guys will tell you he's not as good as those numbers would tell you that he is. He's got a 4 ERA on the road, which isn't as good. This month he hasn't been as good either. 14-4 strikeout walk ratio is all right. More than 1 hit per inning is not very good, and 4.18 ERA is just mediocre. So I am kind of agreeing with the analytics guys on this one. I mean, Littell, he's been around for a while. We kind of know what he is. He's not really this dominant pitcher. He's an okay pitcher. So I'll kind of agree with the analytics guys on that. Last time out, he was not good against Cincinnati. 10 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 dingers allowed. I'm wearing my Dingers hat for it today. But it was at Great American Ballpark. 5 earned runs out there. You know, I mean, that's a hitter-friendly ballpark. So maybe you give him a little bit of a pass on that one. Against the Yankees, doesn't have great numbers either, though. In 66 at-bats, 17-9 strikeout walk ratio. That's not good. Volpe and Wells both have really hit him well. Volpe, 5 for 11 with 2 home runs. Wells, 4 for 8 with 2 home runs and a double. Volpe also a walk. And then Goldschmidt, 6 for 12 with a home run and a walk. So if you want to look for player props, hits plus runs plus RBIs, those 3 guys do well against Littell. Littell overall, 273 average allowed to the Yankees' current roster and 921 OPS. So that's a pretty high OPS because of all those home runs. So I don't think we could trust Littell here. Yankees have Will Warren on the mound. Can we trust him either, though? I'm not sure. 4.82 ERA, 1.44 whip. That's not a good number. Better at home, though. 3.02 ERA, significantly better at home. Hasn't been good recently, though. 6.29 ERA, 21-15 strikeout walk ratio this month. That is awful. Very, very bad. The walk numbers have been terrible, actually, this month. Walking 3 or more in all but 1 start. And that goes back to the last start of June as well. Way more than 1 hit per inning. 6 home runs allowed this month. Not good. Not good signs for Warren. He's not in good form right now. And his numbers, very small sample size, but his numbers are pretty bad against Tampa. And 14 at-bats, 1 strikeout, 3 walks, 429 average allowed. Aranda has a home run off him. Or Aranda. 1.172 OPS as well. Doesn't look good for Will Warren either. I still don't trust the Yankees bullpen, even though they are rested. Tampa's bullpen is better, but it's unrested. So I would lean to the over in this game. I don't think we could trust either starter either. It's at the Bronx. It's a hitter-friendly ballpark, although Tampa's probably used to playing in this stadium because their stadium right now, their temporary home is Steinbrenner Stadium, which is supposed to be like the same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. Maybe that'll help Tampa a little bit. I don't know. As far as their hitting, the money's coming in on the under, and I really don't see that. Total up from 8.5 to 9. 69% tickets on the over, 58% of the cash on the under, though. Again, I don't agree with that. I would go over in this game. And it looks like Tampa is a public road underdog this time. 65% of tickets, only 55% of the cash. So the public seems to be a little bit off the Yankee train. Doesn't make sense. Usually they're almost always on the Yankee train, especially when the Yankees did just win yesterday. And public, I guess, is looking at Littell and wanting him over Warren. I mean, that really just doesn't make sense to me, though. Yeah, I can't really figure out why the public would be on Tampa there. Littell is not really a guy that draws the public attention, really, so I don't get it, but it does look like that's the case. Yankees at minus 126 on the money line is a home favorite there. Dodgers at the Reds. Reds have lost both games this series, although they've been pretty close games, 5-4 and 5-2. Unfortunately, the 5-4 was yesterday, so it pushed my underplay. As far as the bullpens, I don't like the Dodgers bullpen, as I've been saying for a while. They did use 5 relief pitchers yesterday, so their bullpen, even though the number of pitches they've thrown is pretty light, I don't know, man. Using 5 relievers yesterday, maybe a couple of those guys who were lightly used might be able to come back into today's game, but their bullpen is not very good anyway, so I don't like how it sets up for the Dodgers bullpen here. The Reds bullpen is mediocre. They used 4 relief pitchers yesterday, so their bullpen a little bit unrested as well. Starting pitching, Shohei Ohtani is getting the start for the Dodgers here. He's been good so far since he's pitched. He's only allowed 1 earned run, and it was in his first start in like 2 years, and since then he hasn't even allowed a run. 1.5 ERA, 1 whip on the season. Good numbers, obviously. He has a 0 ERA on the road so far. It's all small sample size, though. He hasn't gone more than 3 innings yet, although they're slowly ramping him up. So at some point, you're probably going to see him go deeper than 3 innings. I don't know if it'll be today or not, though, but he's been good since then. Actually, my mistake. He gave up 1 earned run last time out against Minnesota. My mistake. So he's now allowed 2 earned runs. But he's been really good overall. 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. 9 hits allowed in 12 innings. 1.5 ERA, as I said, 2 earned runs a lot. He is pitching well. He seems like he's already kind of back like in his old form as far as his pitching. Against the Reds, he's been good in 25 at-bats, 15-2 strikeout walk ratio, ridiculous strikeout rate based on the amount of at-bats. 120 average allowed in 345 OPS. So Ohtani has done well against Cincinnati. The problem is he's still probably not going to go full starter's workload here, so you're going to get the Dodgers bullpen into this game, and that's not great. Nick Martinez is pitching for Cincinnati, and he's starting to kind of fall off as the season progresses. 4.69 ERA, 1.22 whip, 4.6 ERA at home, so he's a little bit better at home. This month, pretty bad numbers, 6.67 ERA, 17-8 strikeout walk ratio. Those are not good numbers. He did get lit up for 10 runs in one start, but that was against Miami, so that's not a good sign, although the Reds have won all of his other starts recently. They've actually won 6 of his last 7 starts, all of the starts except for that Miami one, so maybe he's not as bad as those overall numbers look because it's all that one horrendous start, but still, I don't know if we could trust Nick Martinez right now, man. Against a good Dodger lineup, although Martinez has decent numbers against them in 64 at-bats. 9-6 strikeout walk ratio isn't that good, but 250 average allowed, 658 OPS. Pretty good numbers against a very solid Dodgers lineup. So Martinez actually does pitch fairly well there. I mean, with both starting pitchers looking actually maybe even capable in this game, even though I just said Martinez, I'm worried about his form, but his numbers are pretty good against the Dodgers. I mean, his numbers are getting skewed a little bit with his recent numbers. I could see an under in the first 5 innings being a way to look in this game. Total up very high from 9 to 9.5. 53% of tickets on the over. 53% of the cash on the under. I would not want to factor in the bullpens in that one, though. So I would take it first 5 innings, and then you get Ohtani, at least for the majority of those innings. So maybe that would make sense, a first 5 inning under. Dodgers down from minus 165 to minus 160, 59% of tickets, 77% of the cash on them, though. So the cash looks like it's on the Dodgers, but man, you're paying a price. It seems like you're paying a price for Ohtani. Just for 3 innings of Ohtani, it seems like you're paying a price too. Like basically just because of the name and because he's good and because you don't really know how deep he's going to go into the game. We will see, man. It seems like too heavy a price to lay on the Dodgers there, though. I mean, you're basically always going to pay a tax on the Dodgers, even though it looks like the cash might be coming in on that side there. Miami at St. Louis. St. Louis lost yesterday, got shut out 5-0, so maybe they'll be angry about that and want to bounce back here. St. Louis bullpen usage has actually been... It was a little bit light until yesterday. They did use 4 relief pitchers, so it's a little bit less light now, though some of their best relievers are still available, including their closer. So they do have some of their better relievers available because they did get shut out yesterday, so they didn't really have to bring in their better relievers. They do have probably the better bullpen over Miami. Miami has kind of staggered their bullpen usage pretty well as well. So their bullpen usage isn't that high either. So the bullpens look okay coming into this. Both starters on the surface are not good starters. Cal Quantrill from Miami, 5.05 ERA, 1.33 whip. That's not good. Bad on the road, 5.76 ERA on the road. That's not good. This month, though, 3.66 ERA and 18-2 strikeout walk ratio. No walks in his last 2 outings. And Miami has actually won 6 of his last 7 starts. So suddenly, Quantrill is actually pitching a bit better here. And over that span, he's allowed more than 2 earned runs only twice, more than 3 earned runs only once. Although he's still not going that deep into these games. He's only exceeded 5 innings once against that bad Kansas City lineup. But he is pitching like pretty serviceably right now at the very least. Numbers are not great against St. Louis in 27 at-bats, 4-4 strikeout walk ratio, 296 average allowed is pretty high, but a 683 OPS is not high, so they have basically no power numbers against him, no extra base hits. So maybe Quantrill, I mean, he's in decent form right now. Maybe he will actually do okay against St. Louis here. Miles Mikolas is pitching for St. Louis, and I think he's the tougher of the starters to figure out right now. 4.94 ERA, 1.3 whip. Better at home, 3.75 ERA at home, so he has the better home road splits here. Quantrill does not. Mikolas has a 14-3 strikeout walk ratio this month, which is pretty good. But he's allowed 8 home runs this month and has a 5.66 ERA, so all of that is bad. But a bunch of it was that 6 home run outing against the Cubs where he just got totally lit up at Wrigley. He got lit up again at Arizona for a bit as well. So his road starts recently have been bad. His home starts have actually been significantly better. So he's been kind of alternating good and bad, but the good starts have all been at home, which is where he is here. And he is facing a weak lineup here. So those last 2 starts were obviously against good lineups on the road. Against Miami, only 2 of their hitters have ever even seen him before, which is weird because Mikolas has been around for a while. 9 at-bats, so very small sample size. 3.0 strikeout walk ratio. Has a lot of home run to Sanchez, though. 333 average and 1,111 OPS. Mikolas, still, he at least has kind of an unfamiliarity edge, and Miami's offense still isn't that good. So, to me, I mean, this game almost kind of seems like an under game to me. Both bullpens have kind of decent rest situations here. The offenses aren't really that formidable on either side. Both starting pitchers look awful, but when you dig into their numbers, they're actually maybe not quite as bad as that. Total's gone up a little bit from 8.5 to 8.5 with juice on the over, but 76% of the tickets on the over, 64% of the cash on the over, so less of the cash on the over. Kind of would lean under in that game, although I don't know if I could really trust either of those pitchers enough to make it a play. J-Main, thanks for coming back, man. So yeah, that's the way that I lean in that game. I don't know if I could trust it, though. Texas at Anaheim. Anaheim has won both games in the series, so Anaheim continuing to win games that I think maybe they shouldn't even win. Anaheim, they're still not as good as their record would indicate, man, based on their run differential on the season, so I don't like that. I like that Texas is trying to avoid a sweep here, I believe, so Texas should come out motivated here after losing those first 2 games. Texas definitely has the better bullpen. Anaheim has one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball. Texas is pretty much a top bullpen. Anaheim has seen a decent amount of bullpen usage recently as well. So their bullpen has seen some usage. Texas, it looks bad because of the red here, but that's because Bushley has thrown a lot of pitches a few times, so he's not going to be available today. But a lot of Texas's better relievers seem like they are available for today's game. So Texas, you give them the bullpen edge still. They do have the better bullpen as well. And they have the better starter with Eovaldi pitching. He's having a really good season. 1.5 ERA, 0.88 whip. Even better on the road somehow. 1.26 road ERA. This month, 0.38 ERA. Completely insane. He's allowed 1 run the entire month. Texas has won every one of his starts this month, all 4. 26-6 strikeout walk ratio. He did walk 4 in his last outing against the Braves, which maybe is a little bit of a bad sign, but he did shut them out still for 5 innings. He's still pitching well, man. Just really good numbers overall in the season. He did have a good game against Anaheim this month in this same stadium. He went 6 innings, allowing no earned runs, 6 strikeouts, no walks, 5 hits allowed. I think just generally he does do okay against Anaheim, so that's probably what I'm expecting again. In 98 at-bats, 235 average allowed, 628 OPS. So even though Anaheim did just see him, he's a veteran, man, and these teams have seen him a lot. I just think he has good matchup numbers against them. He should probably pitch pretty well again against Anaheim here. Jose Soriano is the tougher pitcher to read here for Anaheim. 3.79 ERA is pretty good, but a 1.4 whip is not good. He's been way worse at home as well with a 5.37 ERA at home. He's pitching better this month, though. The 3.1 ERA, although his walk rate has still been way too high. 24 to 13 strikeout walk ratio, so that's a little bit of a bad sign, although he's only allowed more than 2 earned runs in one of the starts this month. So in a way, he's pitching better in that he's not allowing a lot of runs or a lot of hits, but his walk rate is still too high. So you got to worry about that. He does have good numbers against Texas, though, in 55 at-bats. 218 batting average, 655 OPS, 11 to 9 strikeout walk ratio is not good, but the rest of his numbers against Texas are good. However, in his last outing here, I think that was the game with the Eovaldi. I think it was the same pitching matchup. That was his worst start of this month. He had 5 walks, gave up 5 earned runs in 4 innings in this stadium against Texas. So are we looking at a repeat here? I would say, I think probably so. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that much of a blowout, but I would still lean to Texas here. I mean, I think they have the better starter, again, obviously, the better bullpen, obviously, but Texas has the worst offense. That's the thing that's the thing you have to worry about Texas, but you got to worry about this market read here because Texas is 84% of the tickets, only 80% of the cash, and the money line has dropped from minus 132 to minus 120 on Texas. So strong market indicators coming in towards Anaheim, which really surprises me because, again, I think Texas has the edge here. I think they have a motivational edge, too. So I would not be looking that way. The under might make sense, though, because Soriano at least does have good matchup numbers against Texas, and their offense isn't good, so maybe that last start against them was an anomaly. Total sitting at 8 with 69% of tickets on the over, only 56% of the cash on the over. So the ticket percentage is way higher on the over than the cash is. If you were going to go under in this game, I would limit it to the first 5 innings, though, just because I would not want any part of Anaheim's bullpen. And then we finished the night off with Seattle at the A's here. The A's have a terrible bullpen. I mean, I don't know if that has to be stated every time, but their bullpen sucks. They only used 3 relief pitchers yesterday, but I don't even think it matters. Their bullpen is awful. It's the worst bullpen in baseball. Can't be trusted. Seattle obviously has the better of the bullpens. Very clean sheet for Seattle here. Very limited bullpen usage. They only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, so their bullpen's in good shape here. Got to give Seattle the bullpen edge. Seattle has a good offense on the road, so I think the offenses are very comparable at the very least here. And Seattle has Brian Wu pitching, who is the better of the 2 starters. 2.91 ERA, 0.95 whip, excellent numbers, but he is a little bit worse on the road. 3.33 ERA on the road. So he's a little bit more hittable away from those pitcher-friendly I don't know, what was the word I was looking for? That pitcher-friendly environment. I don't know. I had some plural word in my mind. I don't remember what it was. Away from, the pitcher-friendly environment, though, of Seattle. 25 to 7 strikeout walk ratio this month. It's a few too many walks, but still good. 2.84 ERA this month. Maybe he was a little bit distracted because he was pitching in the All-Star game. He's lost all of the starts around the All-Star game, or his team has lost all of them, but he hasn't done that poorly in those outings, so I don't think he's like all of a sudden totally out of form or anything like that. Against the A's, he has really good numbers in his history. 77 at-bats, 22 to 4 strikeout walk ratio, 130 average, allowed him 420 OPS. Yes, this is a tough place to pitch in, but he has dominated these A's hitters, though, so I think Wu still should do well in this start. He's up against Jeffrey Springs, who's actually been sneakily pretty good for the A's. Most of their pitchers aren't very good, but he's fairly good. 4.13 ERA, 1.2 whip. Those are not horrible numbers. Very similar home and away, a little bit worse at home, which is understandable in this ballpark. 4.27 ERA at home. This month, 4.18 ERA, but 20 to 5 strikeout walk ratio. That's fairly good, allowing more than 3 earned runs only once against Cleveland. So he is pitching pretty well this month, and he has good numbers against Seattle in 53 career at-bats, 19 to 5 strikeout walk ratio, 189 batting average allowed, 523 OPS. So I think this is a good starting pitching matchup, man. I apologize for clicking on the MMA page or whatever that was. This game, man, I think, yes, Seattle has the advantages. So the line move on Seattle does make sense, up from -128 to -142. 65% of tickets, 74% of the cash coming in on Seattle. I believe the A's won yesterday, right? Yeah, so Seattle won the first game in the A's return home spot. The A's had a bounce back in their bounce back spot last night. Money is coming in on Seattle, but I think it's a little bit too much of a price to pay for Seattle. But I think once it gets later into the game, I do think they have a significant edge with the bullpens. My lean in this game would be under in the first 5 innings, though. I mean, we have a total that's actually kind of low for an A's home game. It's not even at 10. It's at usually see 10 or above in this very hitter-friendly park. But with Wu on the mound, and probably because of Springs as well, it's at 9.5 juice to the over. 78% of tickets, 88% of the cash on the over. I could definitely see going under first 5, though, because both of these starters have good matchup numbers. I was considering that as a play, actually. And they both are actually pitching pretty well right now, in decent form. I hesitate a little bit because Springs maybe not totally trustworthy. Wu a little bit worse on the road, and this stadium is just really difficult to take an under in the stadium, so I hesitate to do it, but that would be the way that I lean. That's close to being a play for me. Let's go to best bets now, man. I got one side here and one total, and you might have thought that the total was going to be in the first game that I mentioned, the Cubs and Milwaukee, but it is not. I'm not going to go under in this game this time. I'm actually going to go with the Milwaukee side here in this game. Now, it looks like the money was agreeing with me early on, but now it looks like it's kind of shifted to being on the Cubs, but I'm going to disagree with that. Milwaukee up from -115 to -117. Now, you can find them at a pretty short price, and I'm actually going full game on this because Milwaukee's bullpen has definitely turned it completely around as well. We see 50% of tickets, 54% of the cash on the Cubs right now, though I did see money coming in on Milwaukee earlier. But when we break this game down, we start looking at this. Milwaukee, their bullpen has become one of the better bullpens, actually. In WHIP, they're actually now 7th overall, and their ERA is actually down to 3.87 as a bullpen ERA, so that's not even that bad either. Cubs have a worse bullpen ERA and a worse WHIP, too. They're actually 12th in WHIP, so Milwaukee actually has the better bullpen now. And if you look at their bullpen usage, Milwaukee only used one relief pitcher yesterday, it looks like. They just used Ashby to finish off the rest of the game. So their entire bullpen besides him is available. So very good bullpen availability for Milwaukee coming into this game. Cubs used 5 relief pitchers yesterday, so their bullpen is the slightly worse of the two, and they're the way more used bullpen. So I think we're getting a bullpen advantage here with Milwaukee. So I'm kind of starting there and thinking, okay, we have a bullpen advantage with Milwaukee. You've got to give the offensive edge to Chicago still. They do have the better offense, but they're not as good on the road, I don't believe. And Milwaukee's not as good at hitting at home, but Milwaukee at least has an offense that can kind of compare with the Cubs. If you look at their hitting stats here, Cubs are 3rd in baseball in OPS. I mean, we know they're an elite offense. Milwaukee kind of in the middle somewhere where they're 17th, but their offensive numbers are still not that bad. So I still think that's okay. And, I focus more on pitching than hitting. And let's look at the starting pitching. You're thinking, Imanaga against Peralta. I mean, this is ace versus ace, basically. So you got to think, well, this is going to be, like, it looks like I should be taking the under, right? I'm not sure, man. I'm ready to fade Imanaga in this specific spot, and I'm almost never going to fade him. I know he's good. 3.12 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. He has these weird lapses, though, and I know he's been better on the road, too, 2.68 ERA, but he is not in good form right now, man. This month, 4.13 ERA is not that good. 18-2 strikeout walk ratio is good, but last outing, 7 runs allowed on 3 homers, 12 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks, 3 innings against the White Sox. Like one of the worst lineups in baseball. That is not a good indicator, man. That's kind of telling me he's not really in good form right now. And now he's having to face a better lineup than that, even though, yes, he was coming off big starts against the Yankees and the Red Sox, so maybe he had a letdown spot, didn't focus, but I think he's fadeable. I think at the very least, Freddie Peralta can get us to the bullpens, or I think Milwaukee has the bullpen edge in this game. I think Peralta can at least duel Imanaga here because he looks like he's in bad form right now. And against the Brewers, he actually does not have good numbers. In 38 career at-bats, 316 batting average allowed, .860 OPS. So the Brew crew has actually hit Imanaga pretty well in the past, and they're somewhat familiar with him at this point. So he doesn't really have that unfamiliarity edge against them anymore. Freddie Peralta pitching, I mean, overall, I would say Imanaga is the better of the two starters, but the numbers this year, Peralta actually has the better numbers this year, and I like Freddie Peralta. 2.81 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. He has the splits in favor of him, though. He's really good at home, 1.55 ERA at home. And he's the pitcher that is in the better form right now with a 33-8 strikeout walk ratio this month. Milwaukee had won 7 starts in a row for him before they lost his start against Miami, and it wasn't his fault. He only allowed 1 run. The bullpen completely blew it for him. 2.51 ERA this month, so he's actually the pitcher that's been pitching better recently. And then we look up the matchup numbers. You know what's about to happen here. He actually does really well against the Cubs, even though they have a ton of at-bats against him, 145 at-bats, 52-18 strikeout walk ratio. He's held them in that big of a sample size. You almost never see a batting average this low in that big a sample size. He's held this strong Cubs lineup to a 166 average and 602 OPS. He has allowed 7 home runs, but it's in a lot of at-bats. So Freddie Peralta, really good numbers against the Cubs. So I'm ready to say that I think we have a starting pitching edge on the side of Milwaukee here as well. To me, I think the public might be coming in on the Cubs a little bit in this game, man, just because they still, I think they have that name recognition behind them, even though Milwaukee is on a roll right now. Milwaukee has won the first 2 games of the series by decent scores in both, but that does mean they at least have the momentum here as well. So sometimes baseball is a streaky sport, even though the Cubs, yes, they're going to show up focused and try to win this game. You know, both teams want to win this game, man. Both teams are going to show up here. And I think the setup pitching wise is actually a lot better for Milwaukee across the board there for all those reasons. So Milwaukee is the play there. Stacks, what's up, man? And then we'll finish it off. I told you it was going to be a total. You know me, more often than not, it's going to be an under, and it is. In Pittsburgh, San Francisco. And this game, first of all, at least we got some pretty weak lineups here, all right? We got the team hitting stats here. San Francisco is 24th overall in OPS. Where's Pittsburgh at? I thought Pittsburgh was worse than that. Are they not? What am I doing here? Is Pittsburgh? Oh, yeah, they're dead last. What am I saying? I'm like, why don't I see Pittsburgh? I'm like, they're definitely one of the worst teams. Yeah, so they're dead last in OPS. So, yeah, we're looking at 2 bad offenses here. We know this. So, we're starting out looking like, yeah, this might be an underplay here. San Francisco, they have a really good bullpen. Right now, they're 3rd. They've been a little bit worse recently, though, because they've been overused recently, but they're still 3rd in WHIP. Very close to being top in WHIP still. They've dropped off a little bit ERA-wise, but they're still in the top, like, couple of bullpens in the ERA. I think they're still 2nd, actually, probably in bullpen ERA behind San Diego. So still, we're looking at a really good bullpen. Pirates, by the way, look at where they are now. Even though their bullpen ERA is a little bit worse, their bullpen WHIP is 4th in the MLB. So the Pirates bullpen, I've been, kind of ragging on them quite a bit this year, but their bullpen has been way better recently. So Pittsburgh's bullpen is actually not bad. And look at the bullpen usage. Yeah, like I said, San Francisco has seen too much bullpen usage. Yesterday, it was a little bit lighter, though, with 4 relievers pitching. A couple of them threw under 10 pitches, Lucchesi and Beck, so they might actually be available again today. So we do have some of their better relievers seem like they're kind of available coming into today's game. So San Francisco, I'm not ready to, not go with the under here. And you know me, I don't like to go under in the first 5 innings with a low total like this. You have to go under like 3.5. I think it's a little bit more dangerous. I'd rather actually factor the bullpens in and get, if we have a good starter here, let's let that starter give us a couple more innings maybe, and then we have to use less of the bullpen, and that's what I think might happen here, man. San Francisco, their bullpen is in the worst rest spot out of the 2, but they have the way better pitcher. They have the grinder on the mound today, Logan Webb, so he could get us deep enough into this game that San Francisco doesn't even have to use that much of their bullpen here. Pittsburgh, like I said, they haven't used as much of their bullpen. They only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, so a good reprieve for them after using 5 the game before that. But their bullpen kind of back in form here where they should be able to use some of their better relievers, which is good because they might have to go to the bullpen first with Mike Burrows on the mound. But I'm kind of ready to trust him to at least do okay in this game. 4.15 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, not outstanding numbers. He is a rookie, but he's shown glimpses of being pretty good. I know he's bad on the road, 5.71 ERA on the road, but this is a pitcher-friendly park here, man. numbers this month don't look good. 4.15 ERA, 18-10 strikeout walk ratio, but his last 2 starts have actually been better with an 11-3 strikeout walk ratio. He's gone 11 innings. And he's only allowed 2 earned runs combined and no home runs over that span against the White Sox, who are, not a formidable foe, but Arizona, one of his best starts of the season, shutting Arizona out for 6 innings, and that's a good lineup. So Burrows might start, it looks like he might be coming into form a little bit and kind of figuring something out. And he has shown glimpses. I mean, over the month of June, he had a 30-6 strikeout walk ratio with a 2.73 ERA. So he does have the capability to do some things here. And he has the advantage of San Francisco never having seen him before. So Burrows, a young pitcher with decent stuff against a pretty weak lineup who's never seen him before. That is an advantage to the pitcher. So I think Burrows might have a bit of an advantage here. I know it's a little bit risky with Burrows because he could potentially blow up in some starts, which has happened to me once, I think, when I played an under with him. But maybe he'll give up a couple of runs. Hopefully he can limit it to, a few runs maybe, and hopefully we get domination from Logan Webb, who I think is absolutely a trustworthy pitcher here. Even though I said that in his last outing and he didn't pitch well, but I'm ready to go right back with Webb, man. 3.38 ERA, 1.24 whip. I know that whip is a little bit high, but he's really good at home, 2.88 ERA at home. Yes, I know his last 2 starts were not that good. He gave up 10 earned runs across those 2 starts, but he pitched in the All-Star game, and I think it kind of lingered into that Toronto game. The Mets are at least a good offense. He at least had a 4-1 strikeout walk ratio against the Mets, but he was too hittable. He got hit hard. So the one bad thing is he's given up 32 hits in 22 innings this month, and he has a 7.36 ERA, which I know is bad. So it looks like he's in bad form. 17-6 strikeout walk ratio this month. But again, I think the All-Star break kind of jarred him a little bit. And I think to me, I actually think Webb is going to get back into form here, man. I heard handicappers, and I said this last game, even though I was wrong with him in the last game. Handicappers are talking about, Webb might be worn out now. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's 28, so he's not old, and he's thrown over 200 innings in the last couple of seasons. So, he's not worn out halfway through the season. I mean, I don't think so. So I think Webb at some point is going to come back into form. Maybe it'll happen here against this terrible Pirates offense, who, by the way, Webb pretty much dominates in 41 at-bats, 14-2 strikeout walk ratio, 195 average, allowed him 452 OPS. So the matchup numbers look really good to me. I like matchups like this, man, where you have an unknown, decent young talent against a really good pitcher who has really good numbers against the opposing lineup. So that's what I'm going to do here. Under is the play. It looks like the 7.5 is going away, man. So you might have to get it at under 7. I guess I would still do it, although it's a little bit more risky. Obviously, the hook is a little bit better. I would pay up to about -120 to get the hook on the 7.5. We have 57% of the tickets, 92% of the cash on the under. So the money looks like it is agreeing with me and coming in on the under there. So that's the play. My plays are in the first 2 games up. So 2 afternoon plays for me today on the baseball slate. That's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. Oops, I thought I took the screen share off. Oops, I'm multitasking, and then my mind just brain farts, or I have a stroke or something. Yeah, Learn to Toad on Instagram. I put out the short betting content there. Better Off Dead, of course, BTTOR. Find me on YouTube, audio platforms. Help me out. Rate the show, subscribe, all those things. Boost me up, baby. And then I have a ukulele project as well, Covered in Uke on YouTube, where I'm putting out everything that I put out on Twitter there. And I have a Patreon, patreon.com/LearnToToad, where the bonus content is all uke stuff right now. So you get a Spotify uke feed at one of the levels, and at the highest level, you get prioritized uke requests as well. So check it out. And that's going to do it, man. Let's get some wins today. Thanks again, everybody. Let's learn to Toad. Let's have a good, what is it, Wednesday today? Is that what it is? I lose track, man. But have a good one, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate all the regulars and the newcomers who seem like they're becoming regulars. Thanks, everybody. Peace.